our speakers. If the reporters could raise their hands so my volunteers can make sure you get that packet. I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes to review those, and then I'll be back. Can I get another packet up here? Yeah?
Yes.
Lisa.
Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. I'm Lisa Shea.
They sent me to the residence. My people sent me to the residence.
So Nick, just to fill you in, I was giving everybody a couple minutes to look at those packets before our speakers begin. Okay, and I will be emailing those same documents to you after we all leave here today, so you'll have it electronically as well. So this morning we'll hear from Most Reverend Mitchell T. Rozanski, Archbishop of St. Louis, and then Julie Soffner, Executive Director for the Today and Tomorrow Educational Foundation, and then Father Christopher Martin, Vicar for Strategic Planning for the Archdiocese of St. Louis. Afterwards, the speakers will be available for a few minutes of questions. And then we know that you may also be interested in speaking with people directly affected by these decisions. So several members of each school community have volunteered to speak with the media about how they feel about the school closing and how it will affect them. And they will be available at their respective schools today between 11:15 and 12:30. So we do appreciate your cooperation in honoring that time frame since it is a school day. And now I'll turn things over to Most Reverend Mitchell T. Rozanski, Archbishop of St. Louis. Archbishop?
Good morning, and thank you for being here today. As a product of Catholic education, I can speak firsthand of the powerful and life-changing effects it can have on a child's education and formation. Here at the Archdiocese of St. Louis, we are profoundly grateful to the administrators, teachers, and staff who share their gifts to help raise our children in our Catholic faith. We are equally grateful for the parents who make a commitment to Catholic education. Our goal with All Things New, a strategic plan for evangelization throughout the Archdiocese of St. Louis, is to create an educational model that is accessible, affordable, strong in Catholic identity, and more equitable for our teachers. As part of this process, we reviewed data and trends over the past 20 years and consulted with experts in the fields of education, religion, development, and finance. In order to be good stewards of the gifts given to us, we have decided that this school year will be the last for Rosati-Kain High School and St. Mary's High School. We are immensely grateful to the faculty, parents, alumni, and former staff at these two schools who have carried on the tradition of Catholic education in these communities for generations. However, recent trends, both in population shifts and in Catholic education, make these closures necessary. First opened in 1931, St. Mary's High School has served Catholics and non-Catholics alike for nearly 100 years. While enrollment peaked in 1946 at 1,100 students, the past 10 years have seen a decline of 31%. This decrease in enrollment has reduced the amount of income from tuition revenue to pay for teachers, staff, operating expenses, and building maintenance. Meanwhile, St. Mary's High School is located within 6 miles of Bishop DuBourg High School, Cardinal Ritter College Prep, and St. Louis University High School. Rosati-Kain High School was founded in 1911 by the School Sisters of Notre Dame and the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet. By the mid-1940s, enrollment eclipsed 1,000 students. More recently, enrollment has dropped 50% over the past 10 years. In the past year, enrollment dropped from 249 to 187 students, with a current freshman class of 32. Like St. Mary's High School, this decrease in enrollment has reduced the amount of income from tuition revenue to pay for teachers, staff, operating expenses, and building maintenance. Meanwhile, Rosati-Kain is located within 10 miles of Cardinal Ritter College Prep, Bishop DuBourg High School, Incarnate Word Academy, Nearings Hall, and Ursuline Academy. The Archdiocese of St. Louis is committed to providing a strong Catholic presence in the city of St. Louis, and we believe our remaining schools will continue to serve this mission. Both Rosati-Kain High School and St. Mary's High School have contributed greatly to the Archdiocese of St. Louis and served our families admirably for generations. We wanted to make this decision in time for our students to begin the enrollment process for next year at another school that is a good fit for them and their families. We also wanted to allow time for our administrators, faculty, and staff to secure future employment before the end of the current school year. We will be offering enrollment assistance to our families of students and placement assistance to our administrators, teachers, and staff. We are so proud of the legacy of both schools, that they have served their students well and have helped to form them in our Catholic faith. We ask the members of our parishes throughout the Archdiocese to pray for all who have dedicated themselves in service of Christ through the Church. And in particular, please keep all the families, students, and faculty who were affected in your prayers as I keep them in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Archbishop. And now we will hear from Julie Soffner, Executive Director of the Today and Tomorrow Education Foundation.
Thank you, Lisa and Archbishop. My name is Julie. I'm with the Today and Tomorrow Educational Foundation, also known as TTEF. Today and Tomorrow provides need-based tuition assistance scholarships to Catholic and non-Catholic students, including students enrolled in the Archdiocese of St. Louis. This year, over 5,500 students are enrolled in a private or Catholic school thanks to scholarships administered by Today and Tomorrow. 2 of those schools are St. Mary's High School and Rosati-Kain. Currently, there are 88 students at these high schools on scholarships administered by Today and Tomorrow Educational Foundation, fairly evenly split between the 2 schools. These scholarship awards will remain in place for St. Mary's and Rosati-Kain students who complete their academic year at their current school. As the families of these 88 students begin to evaluate their options, Today and Tomorrow is fully committed to serving and partnering with each family. We will work side by side to support the future scholarship needs of every student of these schools. Many of these Students have been scholared by Today and Tomorrow for their entire educational journey. Some of these children have been our scholars since kindergarten. They truly are our families, and we understand that each child's scholarship is as unique and individual as the student. In the next month, Today and Tomorrow will personally contact each St. Mary's and Rosati-Kain family so we can begin the discussion on their scholarship needs. Members of our staff will work to address each child's specific award as families begin to discern their next steps. Should you have any additional questions regarding scholarship, please contact me at ttef-stl.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And our final speaker will be Father Chris Martin, Vicar for Strategic Planning for the Archdiocese of St. Louis. Father.
Thank you. I'd like to address just how this falls into the scope of the All Things New timeline and the decisions that are being made diocesan-wide. While the full plan of All Things New is not expected to be complete until Pentecost of 2023, as Archbishop Rozanski stated, we needed to make these decisions now in order to deal justly with all of our school families, scholarship recipients, teachers, administrators, and all those dedicated to the educational system at St. Mary's High School and Rosati-Kain High School as well. While the full plan will continue to be developed over the next several months until it is announced in Pentecost of 23 for all of our parishes and other ministries. As a reminder, the overarching goal of All Things New is to make sure that we have a vibrant Catholic presence in every area of the Archdiocese. Many people will question how decisions like the ones made today have that sort of an impact. But as we all know, the city of St. Louis, the Archdiocese of St. Louis, continues to see dramatic changes in demographics, in religious participation, amongst other factors. And the mode of evangelization continues to adapt and change. So having a vibrant presence in every area of the Archdiocese doesn't necessarily mean that we maintain all the current ministries we have in all the current locations. Catholic education, I will say myself, as a product of it, is a true gift for the Archdiocese of St. Louis, for our families, the greater St. Louis region, and that we're striving to, again, create blueprints that are sustainable and vibrant for the future. We will continue to reach out to all of our people on the local level as All Things New continues to ask what they think the top priorities for evangelization and social outreach are, and hope again to create those new realities as part of the implementation of All Things New from Pentecost of 23 through implementation over the next 3 to 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Martin. So now we'll take a few minutes to open up the floor for questions for any of our three speakers. Anybody? Okay.
When will you all be making a decision on elementary schools and middle schools?
Thank you for the question. First, we should say that there's a distinction between the high schools that are administered and supervised by the Archdiocese and those that are run on the parish local level. As you know, right now, we are in conversation and meeting with all of our key parish leaders and pastors from around the entire Archdiocese, discussing what the future landscape of our parishes will look like, which will have an immediate impact, obviously, on our parish grade schools, which are a ministry of the parishes. So the current plan is that by mid-October, we're going to be publishing enrollment trends and financial statistics for all of our grade schools, for everybody in the Archdiocese to be able to evaluate and to discern. We'll also then be engaging all of our school families, faculty members, in a survey, asking them questions around thresholds for tuition, classroom ratio, teacher compensation, and Catholic identity. We will then be processing all of that data, we hope, in a fairly expedited manner, so that we can do our best to try to stabilize our footprint prior to registration and contracts going out for the 23-24 school year. We know that we cannot build the dynamic and vibrant educational system that we desire overnight or even in the next several months. And so building the system we desire will take several years of implementation. But to go back to the point, we'll be engaging all of our school families in mid-October to ask them these questions around thresholds of education with the hope of being able to discern what the blueprint should look like by early 23 in order again to deal justly with the teachers, administrators, and school families that are involved in our parish grade schools as well.
What is your response to St. Mary's leaders indicating that they will be pursuing staying open as an independent Catholic high school?
We look forward to working with our schools as we seek a way forward, so we will be open to any suggestions. Thank you.
Would there be other schools that could be, on the chopping block, so to speak, or, could, have their futures in question?
As of now, these two schools whom we've studied with enrollment trends and all over for over the past 20 years, these two schools were the ones that were the most critical. All of our other schools, our high schools, seem to be in good shape.
One more question. I know these schools, as you guys noted in the pack, they've been open for so long, so much history, so many alumni, so many memorable moments for them. Could you speak to, what they, these schools added to the Catholic, to the Archdiocese, over the course of, them being open?
When we reflect on the history of Catholic education, not only in the Archdiocese of St. Louis, but also in our country, the Catholic school system was started to help those immigrants who came from other countries to be able to mainstream into our American society and make contributions to our American society and culture. So these schools served an immigrant population, many of those who were first generations and able to receive an education after their parents or their grandparents arrived. And certainly they have made an impact, a great impact, upon our Catholic community here in the Archdiocese of St. Louis. But we all know that times change, demographics change. Those influxes of immigrants that came over in the late 1800s, early 1900s, all the way through the 1920s, has certainly stopped. And it affected our demographics. So we have to respond realistically to them. And that's why we find ourselves in this situation with the decision regarding those two very venerable, very contributing high schools to our Archdiocese, but also to the demographics and the student enrollment that we find today. Thank you.
Time for maybe one more question. Somebody? I'll let Kate.
Yeah, so you talked about the type of evaluations you're going to be doing starting in the beginning of October. Why was that not necessary for these two schools?
So I think it's important to note that over the past several years, the leaders of these two schools have been in conversation with the Archdiocese and the Office of Catholic Education Formation, discussing enrollment trends, discussing revenue issues and building status. And so these are not decisions that were made just overnight, but are actually over the course of several years of conversation and consultation with others that led to the conclusion today.
One quick one. Was enrollment the only factor that kind of led to the closings, or were there other, things to it? Enrollment and tuition, obviously they go kind of hand in hand. Was that the only factor?
I think, especially as we evaluate strategic planning for the future, you have to find a balance between mission and then also just the shifting demographics. And so based on the mission of the Archdiocese as a whole, maintaining the schools that we have in the city for the future maintains our mission and commitment to Catholic education while also addressing just the reality of enrollment trends, subsidy rates, and costs in these two situations as well.
Thank you all for being here. Just a reminder that there are people from the 2 school communities who are willing to speak to media members between 11:15 and 12:30 today, so they will be there welcoming you. And the documents that you have right now will be emailed to you within the half hour. Thank you.